Hey, everybody. Yeah. Welcome back. Yes. Welcome back to the Paid Search Podcast. My name is Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by the great Chris Schaefer. Chris, how's it going?
Thank you, Jason. I am doing well. It's good to be here with my award-winning co-host, Jason Rothman, #1 Google Ads manager in the world, from what I hear. I don't think anyone else has contested that. You know, Jason, I found a solution for us, for me more particularly. The fact that we only talk face-to-face, screen to screen, let's say, once a week. I found a solution. I actually started listening to our own podcast kind of just intermittently through the week. And I sit and laugh and listen. And it's kind of like having you multiple times a week in kind of an artificial way. I know what you're about to say, but it still feels intimate and close. So that has helped me. So I'm not quite as lonely the other 6 days of the week that I don't get to talk.
I do listen to the show myself to try to improve and things of that nature. And one of the sad things which I've tried to improve on, Chris, that you can learn when you listen to your own show is that oftentimes actually, I'll listen back to the show and I will have no memory or recollection of you saying things that I'm hearing as I listen to the podcast. And that's teaching me to be a better. I am probably probably in the top 0.5% of listeners on earth. I'm just a very naturally gifted listener, and I do work very hard at it, and observant to the fact where it's offensive if people would understand how strong I am at observing them. Yeah. So I'm very good at that. I'm very tuned in, but there's something different about a podcast, and I can always listen better to my great co-host. So Chris, how's it going? We got the first of the month. Are you busy? Are you getting through it? April 1st. Is anybody messed with you? April Fool's Day, which I don't celebrate, by the way, just so everyone knows out there.
Oh, no.
I don't celebrate it. And so if you do something on April 1st, I don't have any jokes on April 1st. So it's not a game to me. It's one calendar day of the year. No games. I don't celebrate that holiday. Do you, Chris?
No. My wife doesn't take jokes very well. You know, she doesn't think stuff like that's funny. She does like scaring me. She does do a whole like jumping out and scaring me. She thinks that's funny, but like jokes like, "Hey, your mom died," you know, like she doesn't think that's funny. No, it's no joking on April 1st around here.
Good. Haven't been online a lot today, but haven't seen any like crazy April Fool's Day stories out there. And I think that's a good thing. Probably not the right time. And I think everyone's kind of picking up on that. No one's really in the mood. One time, Chris, it kind of bit me in the butt. I had a fight with Cynthia and we were talking, or we were not yelling, but we had a little fight. And one time I told her something with the fight with me saying like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm never joking. Okay. I'm never joking."
Oh gosh.
Or something like that. Like I had to make my point. And then of course in the future, I'm a fun guy. I'm a great guy. I'm a fun guy. Nice guy. I like to joke around sometimes. And of course I say things that should be taken as a joke sometimes. And in a second argument later on, she brought that up. I thought you said you never joked.
Wow.
So I know the power of my words now, and I have to be careful with what I say and what I claim.
So the #1 observer and listener in the world is married to the actual #1 listener and observer in the world. So that's
true. That's the truth. That's where I learned from. She teaches me every day. Yeah.
I believe it.
Chris, you made some exciting episode notes. I'm excited to get into it. We have a review I want to get to.
Let's do it.
We have some big news, some big news, some big news, big news. Say big news.
Big
27
bean.
Times in a row.
Oh, wow. That's too many. No.
Come on. Okay.
No, I'm out.
All right, Chris, let's get into this.
Optio.com/PSP2. That is the URL that I want each and every one of you to try for the next 8 weeks. Okay. So you say, well, Chris, what are you talking about? Optio, that's not even a word. What is Optio? It's referring to the optimization of your Google Ads campaigns. This is the tool that we, Jason and I, recommend this tool. And we refer to this tool as another smart tool in our tool belt. Okay, so you manage the campaigns. You do all the things that you've heard about on this show for years and years. And there's always something, there's something magical about seeing the data on your campaign in a different light, seeing it in a different way, seeing the graphs inverted a different way, changed around, seeing things shown on a different map. It can really enlighten you. And this tool takes that data and displays it in such a way that's so much easier for you to consume and understand. And boom, you'll see something in your account that you've never seen before. That's why we like it. And then it takes that a step further. Beyond the reporting and the dashboard and all that kind of stuff, it gives you things to look at. Say, hey, you don't see anything? Nothing's popping yet? Take a look at this critical issue. Take a look at this medium issue, this low issue. It gives you a tiered system on what to take into account in your Google Ads campaign. You're going to like it. You get 8 weeks for free to try this amazing tool. Optio.com/PSP2. Use the chat in the bottom right-hand corner to tell them you heard about it on the Paid Search podcast, and you'll get that special offer.
Well, thanks, Chris. And interestingly, before the show, you said the word meme, and I don't think you've ever said that to me before.
Really?
But our 5-star review of the week comes from Andrew. Learn and Meme is the title of the review. So I have a feeling this review might be left by someone who is younger than you and I. We're not old, but we're definitely not young. And I feel like memes are something from a later generation than us. Thanks so much to the PSP. I started listening last week. Chris, we still get new listeners every
Brand
single
new.
day. Been
Nice.
at this for 5 years, every single day. Last week, after deciding to pursue my ad certification to start freelancing and eventually replace my job, listening to you guys helped me retain and understand concepts. I passed the certification exam today. That's impressive. Sometimes people are surprised at how difficult that is. I really don't think I would have been able to pass in a week and understand a lot of the concepts without you. I am excited to continue listening and learn even more. Thanks so much. Well, thank you for that review, Andrew. Thank you, everyone, for your reviews. We have our first 100 episodes available for sale, paidsearchpodcast.com. A lot of back to the basics, great core episodes in those first 100. And now episode 256 is a little bit more advanced. And Chris, we're going to get into that in a minute. But first, we have some Bing Ads news. And in your podcast players, in the descriptions, we will have a link to this Microsoft advertising blog 3-minute read article from March 25th titled Introducing Ad Suggestions with Auto Apply to Boost Ad Performance. So we're all about boosting ad performance. And basically what's going to be happening is inside your Bing account, and I just want to be accurate here, I'm going to read this from this article. Ad suggestions marked as auto apply will start serving after 14 days if no action is taken. You can opt out of automatically applying these ads in your account settings at any time. So I need to continue reading through the article. I need to go into a Bing account and look around at the settings. But basically, it says that things to know when Microsoft Advertising identifies an ad group that might be helped by having more quality ads, it creates suggested ads designed for that ad group. Note that most of your ad groups might never get suggested ads. The suggested ads are variations of your existing ads based on your keywords, ad extensions, landing page, targeting, and other relevant content. Ad suggestions continue to create new ads as long as we see the potential for improvements to your ad group performance. You'll get a maximum of 50 suggested ads per account at one time. So we'll link to that article in our show notes. And this is in Bing. And basically, I'm taking this as if you don't opt out, this could happen to your accounts. I have to double check that, but you do have the option to opt out. Chris, had you heard of this? How's this hitting you? How's this sitting with you as a Google Ads manager that's responsible for a lot of ad campaigns where you thought you were the one coming up with the ad copy, and now it sounds like you may not be in Bing, but you can opt out. How's this hitting you? What do you think about it?
It's not a surprise. If I remember the numbers correctly, I believe Google Ads has the exact same time frame of when the ads will auto-apply in Google Ads. So Google Ads tends to lead the pack on search engine tweaks and rules and standards. So this exact same thing is true in Google Ads. So I'm not surprised at all. I'll tell you for managers out there, agencies and managers, I'll tell you what I do. I look at my MCC, and you have a column in your MCC that will tell you if that account has auto apply recommendations or auto apply ads turned on. And I have that column in my MCC. It is right there on the far left. I see it every time I look at my accounts. So as soon as I get a new one, that's one of the first things I see. I see, oh, they have it turned on. I turn it off right away. So for me, it's not an issue. But if you are not aware of that auto setting, you could definitely have some of the ads are okay. Other ads are so uncreative, you would have thought they were made by a child. It just has the company's name, and it says like something like great prices. It's awful.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like doing my own bids. I like doing my own keywords. I like doing my own ad copy. I like to be in control. If I want to try something, I'll try it out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't need this in Google Ads, and I don't need it in Bing Ads. So that said, since it's something I don't use and something it sounds like they're going to auto apply to an account if you don't opt out, you need to opt out. And like you were saying, Google Manager account, you can see the list. The Bing Manager account recently got a new look, and it looks a lot similar to the Google Ads Manager account. So I'm going to look through there for that kind of setting option. There might be an option in Editor to do this, but you can also go through the account and check yourself. And by the way, we get a lot of comments in Patreon. We get a lot of people writing into the show. If you do leave on auto-suggested ads in Google Ads and now in Bing, we would love to hear how that works out for you. Do you get new ideas from it? Do you get performance breakthroughs? And we'd like to know what people are seeing out there. So paidsearchpodcast.com, you can let us know. So Chris, that's the search news for the week. And now we have important data that people are missing in their Google Ads accounts. Mm-hmm. And we're going to fix that today in their, also their Bing Ads accounts. PPC, yeah. Chris's favorite PPC hacks. I want to not like myself as much when I say titles like that. I don't want to say Chris's favorite PPC hacks.
Yeah.
But it's effective. This podcast is going to get a ton of downloads. It's effective.
It's the name, and it's the word hacks that's going to get people.
Who's Chris? Why are these his favorite? Do I know about these? Click, listen, let's go.
Cha-ching. There we go. Because we make money every time you download something. That's not true. We don't make any money from this. Okay, so Jason, these aren't going to be news to you, right? We've known each other a long time, because I probably shared these ideas with you before in different ways, and I probably mentioned this, but how I want to frame this entire conversation sparks from the one thing that I think is best about Google Ads. You say, well, what's best about Google Ads? That you can drive business to your website, that's very relevant. No, that's not the best. Okay, well, that you can get lots and lots of traffic for really cheap. Well, no, that's definitely not the best. The best thing about Google Ads is that it is the number one way to get data about real people searching for real things, live data, and it changes, it molds. It's an entire marketplace, a network, an auction system that's an organic system. Things are coming in, going out. It's always different. And it is a wonderful environment for data. And the one thing that I see people, focusing on is they focus on their keywords, right? Then they probably forget about their ad copy. I'll tell you what, I look at a lot of accounts, do a lot of audits and consultations with people, and ad copy is really largely ignored, right? But
call now for our winter specials.
Yeah.
They say in August.
Yeah. That's so creative. No, it's not. And then they completely forget. They don't even think about it. They're like, oh yeah, I should fix that ad. You're right. And then I point out this other thing, these 4 little hacks that I like to use that boost the amount of data and interpretation that you can get out of your account. And I think this is important because, like I said, I think data, you can get absolutely no income generated from your Google Ads account. You can get really crappy traffic from your Google Ads account. But the one thing everyone gets is data. You learn something. You figure out something. You might learn a mistake, or you might learn something really good out of it. But no matter what, you're going to learn. You're going to get data. So I've got 4 things I want to share about getting, hacking. It's not really hacking.
You don't even like saying it yourself.
I know it sounds so shady. Google, if you're listening,
it's all right. Every time you do it, Chris, it feels a little bit better. Just being a sleazeball.
Easier.
So
yeah,
just one more time after one more time, hacking, and boom, then you're saying it totally naturally.
I'm gonna help you hack your Google Ads data. Be sure and download my ebook and join me for my seminar coming out next week.
Yeah.
No, I didn't like it. I'm gonna throw up. I don't like it.
All right, Chris. So I trust you. We do a lot of things together. We're partners in this venture. You're a great guy, but I'm seeing some of these titles, and I'm wondering what happened to my buddy Chris. I'm wondering who is this person I do a podcast with every week. So I'm not going to just go, oh, great, I like these. I'm gonna, if I like them, I like them. If I don't understand them, I'll let you know, and you can tell me why these are such great hacks. Now, is this for new advertisers who've never advertised on Google and they're trying to think about things to watch out for when they start an account? Or is this for advertisers that have been advertising for months or years and they kind of think everything's going well, but they just have that little feeling that they're kind of missing something in Google Ads and they want to make sure they're not missing anything and doing it as well as it can be done? Who are we kind of talking to here?
That's a good question. The answer is honestly
Every
both.
question I ask is a good question.
You're right. I shouldn't have even said that. But the answer is both. If you're new to Google Ads, it's a great time to do these. But if you're doing it for a while, these are the ones that I get upset about because I look at campaigns that have been running for years and they're not doing any of this. And this is what bothers me the most, is because they're leaving things on the table. They're not getting the data, and they've already paid X thousands of dollars, and that money's spent. They can't get that data anymore. It's gone. It's no longer available.
Are you willing to put any time check on these? Like, there's certain things to do in Google Ads accounts: daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly. Are these like twice a year checkups people could add to their calendar, quarterly, once a year? What are you thinking there? Do they differ?
I would check. Well, so the last one I'm going to say is definitely probably a weekly kind of thing to check. But
wow.
The first,
wow. And people
3
are missing a weekly thing.
Yeah.
You think people are missing a weekly? Okay. Wow. I'm going to make a note there. Weekly. I can't take it anymore. I'm teased enough.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Please, Chris, get into the first one.
Okay. So number 1, your ad schedule should be broken out into at least 4 parts. Okay. Now
Boo.
Yeah, I know it's so underwhelming.
You suck. No, I don't like that. I hate that, Chris. I hate when that happens. Like, it makes it hard to look at. I hate that. You better have a good reason why. You better.
Okay, I do. So here's what I do. I go from midnight to 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to noon, noon to 6 p.m., and 6 p.m. to midnight. That's an even 4-way split between the day. I like that from the beginning because it immediately, in the ad schedule window, you can change. If you didn't know this, there's a little drop down up at the top right corner that you can change your metrics. It's always set on either clicks or impressions or something like that. I think clicks is the default. What you can do is you can change that.
The biggest AdWords nerd on the planet.
You didn't even know it
in my life.
Never seen it there.
I'm the greatest Google Ads manager on planet Earth.
Didn't know it was there.
And I've never seen this. Yeah. I see that. So yeah, you look at your ad schedule on a desktop, you have above your selections at the bottom, you have this chart at the top that shows you days of the week and times of the day. And if you have a click within a time range, it'll be dark blue as opposed to not filled out. That's because clicks are selected. Now I'm looking at that, and wow, there are a lot of options there. I want to see when my cross-device conversion value takes place throughout the week. Wow, a lot of options here, Chris. Wow, okay, here we go.
But here's the thing.
So how do you use this?
It's about looking at the data. See, and I mentioned it even when I was talking about Optio. I really am a fan of seeing the data in different lights and understanding things. And as soon as you see something that correlates to your industry, if you're in the B2B arena and you continue to see very poor performance in the midnight to 6 a.m. time and very good performance in the 6 a.m. to noon, narrow in on that. What's happening there. Maybe it makes sense for you to not do the midnight to 6 a.m. or also the late night stuff. As soon as it makes sense to whatever you're trying to advertise for, dig further. It might be worth splitting it into an 8-part day or something like that from there, or eliminating the super late stuff. Use that little drop down, split the data out, use the wonderful little color graph. It shades itself automatically in different gradients based on which one's darker and lighter. I think it's great. And this gets you out of grinding through search terms, grinding through new keywords, changing your bids. Come on. Try something different. That's the whole idea here. That's the theme for today. Try something different.
Now, Chris, I don't want to let people down here. Are you going to be able to back this suggestion up with the next 3 and actually have some good stuff to talk about? Because this is coming out pretty strong out of the gate. This is impressive. I like this, Chris. This is amazing. Now, I've been very focused on conversions and ROAS lately and all that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you can get conversion value.
Yes, you can.
Over cost.
You can. It's there. Yep.
Okay. I was looking at a different campaign. And one of my conversion, my ROAS, and we'll talk, it's one thing I want to talk about in Patreon, is 56. And 5's what we go, the best. We go for like a great one. Is the budget like $1 a day and it has like 2 clips? Maybe, but we'll talk about it in Patreon. But I like seeing conversion data laid out this way, and I'm going to go through my conversion rate by time of day or by day of the week. I like that. Now, one thing you can do, Chris, you can look at the data in the columns under the chart there or under the graph. Mm-hmm. But I do get what you're saying. It's a different look with color gradations, and it's just a different way to look at it.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Not everyone's going to be running 24/7.
Yeah.
So if you have a client that runs from 7 in the morning to, say, like 7 at night, 7 to 7, are you still going to break down their time into those 6 to 12, blah, 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 those segments, and go like, okay, they start at 7, that's not 6 a.m., but it falls within my 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., so I'm going to put the 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. start as one block, and then 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the second one, and then 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. when they turn off is my third one, and in this case, it wouldn't have a 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Are you still going to follow those time blocks?
What I'm going to probably do is I'm going to do 3 4-hour blocks for something like that. I do.
Okay, so you're flexible, but the point is you want blocks.
I want blocks. I want equal, even blocks to begin with. And then once you start diving through the data, then, okay, customize it and change it up from there. But the main thing is, open your eyes to the data that's there. Open your eyes to the PPC hacks from Chris Schaefer. Download my ebook.
Something about that open your eyes. Has that magic carpet ride song in my head.
That's totally, that's exactly. Okay, well, let's see if I can live up.
Hold on. I'm pressing you today. You're a collared shirt and I'm an iron, and you're laying on an ironing board. Mm-hmm. I'm going to press you.
Wow, that was a good one. Okay, apply the heat.
You apply the heat. What do you do with this data? I see a bid adjustment column there on the ad schedule page. Are you making ad schedule bid adjustments based on this? It can get messy. You have location bid adjustments, device bid adjustments, keyword bids, obviously, audiences, sometimes bid adjustments. Are you really throwing in ad schedule adjustments based on that? Or are you cutting off? No. I'm going to make a prediction. You're the great Chris Schaefer. Bid adjustments at the schedule level where you have all these other bids going on and stuff. It makes things messy. You like things clean, organized, and you like making decisions. You're a decision maker. And I know what you do. You go, okay, I see that the third block works a lot better and the conversion. No, I'll go with your little B2B stuff. The first block, when those executives get in the office because they hate their families before 8 a.m. and they're there from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. and it's a quiet office and they can make decisions. They're doing their Google searches. They're looking for vendors to give money to and find better prices and better products and services. So we hit them with ads then, and you have better conversion rates then. And you go, oh, block one is working better. You know what? I'm looking at my search impression share. We have a lot we're missing out on or whatever. I don't know how to phrase it. I never know how to phrase that off the top of my head, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
We have room to play with our schedule. I'm going to just run in block one for the next 2 weeks and see do you make decisions like that as opposed to bid adjustments?
You're exactly right. I absolutely,
wow.
As I've said,
what a great Google Ads manager.
As I've said many times, I never make decisions based on one metric. I always make decisions based on multiple metrics. So if the search impression share
a factor.
is 24/7, or excuse me, if the ad schedule is 24/7 and search impression share is awful, then I can cut an entire block or two. Absolutely. Yeah.
You love owning your work. You love being able to report to your clients like, hey, you're in a massive market across the best country on planet Earth, the United States of America. There's a lot of search volume. We have such a little small, pathetic search impression share.
Yep.
I want to know when we run. I want to own the times we were running. I want to have confidence in that.
Yeah.
Our conversion rate is 3 times what it is after 8 a.m. in that early block. So I want to just max out our impression share, max out our budget during this time I'm most confident in. Wow, what a great level of insight and management into a Google Ads campaign. And he needs his little colors to look at because he can't look at the freaking data on the table right in front of him. He needs to see the little shades of the color, like he's a little baby at a restaurant drawing on the table with his little crayon. He needs his little colors. All right, you got to prove yourself again, Chris. You're my fighter. I'm your trainer.
Go.
I built you up. You had confidence. You won the sparring round. I brought you back down. I insulted you. You got to prove yourself again. That's how I keep you sharp.
Okay.
And it doesn't make me feel good, but I like the results. So, Chris, what's the next hack that people are missing?
This one, again, you know it very well, locations. Okay? So, you're targeting the entire United States. You're targeting...
I'm looking at a campaign right now.
You're targeting...
Entire U.S. I'm ready to go.
You're targeting entire U.S. You're targeting multiple states, a region. You're targeting one state. You're targeting a county. Or you're targeting one large metro. Okay? I'm talking to every one of you. You need to break your data into bite-sized segments, and I'll tell you exactly what that looks like. Okay? Same idea. You're probably going to get the theme of what I'm talking about with ad schedule. Same idea with locations. Entire United States, break it into 51, because I also include DC, because DC, break that up separate. So 51 different locations by state. I want to break that out, and I want to be able to see that data. Do not get rid of United States targeting. Keep that.
Okay, so you're layering.
Yeah, that's the 51. So you have United States plus all of the other 50 states. So 51 total. If you also add in a few other things like, if you have DC out there, you might have 52 different locations, but break them all out. And the advantage is this. Again, you can now look at the data on a state-by-state location and possibly see some data you hadn't seen before. Consider things you hadn't seen before. If you're targeting a region, then break it out by counties. If you're targeting a state, break it out by counties. If you're targeting a metro, break it out by counties or zip codes, if it's not too big. But I don't want you to have so many that's like hundreds and hundreds. I just want you to have, 50 or less. Don't go too crazy with this. I'd never think that it's going to be a good thing for someone who's targeting national to have all the zip codes in the US and think you're doing, something good. No, that's dumb. That's too micro.
Too much.
Zoom out.
Is this a preference thing with the way you look at it, or is this so you can do bid adjustments? Because if I'm in there right now and I'm like, this campaign I'm looking at is targeting the United States, United Kingdom, Australia. And if I want to say I'll do Australia because I'm less familiar with it than the United States, obviously, I'll click on Australia. I only see those 3 countries because that's what I'm targeting at my location level, at the campaign level. But when I highlight Australia, I can do narrow by pops up, and I can do those different options: states, cities, provinces, whatever. So I'll do states, and now I see South Australia, Victoria, Queensland, etc. And I'm able to get that data at the state level. I do see my bid adjustment column there, but I'm not able to make bid adjustments because I'm not targeting them. I'm just looking at
there
data.
You go. That's the difference.
Is that the one reason to do this? Like literally the one reason? Because you can see the data.
You can see the data, but you cannot react to it. You cannot change it. Wow. So if you see, oh, wow, Oklahoma's doing really good for such a crappy state. I mean, wow. I mean, let's bid up on it, some more. And you can make that adjustment.
What's that? I can't hear you. Your power's out. And I was just working up here, but I guess we're the crappy state.
That was good. That was quick,
all you can do is take it on that one. All you can do is take it
right here. Right on the
oh, that's quick?
Yeah.
That's quick because that's on the tip of my tongue every week. After you called my state saying you would make it a prison colony if you could.
Prison colony. Yeah. We'll just buy it. My favorite joke I got on Jason in 5 years. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. The next one's a lot that.
And let me just say this about bid adjustments at the location level, Chris. I was just kind of down on bid adjustments at the schedule level because they're so messy and there's so much going on. That's like a budget issue and all that. I will say, sometimes when you're running in a big area, like an entire state, and then you have one metro in the state that it's like super high volume.
Yes.
You know what, Chris? I'm just going to say it. Sometimes what I have seen is that when I'm running in a large area, the higher populated area
dominates.
Sometimes it does 2 things. One, it dominates the spend, dominates the volume because there's more there, just more searches, more volume. So that's natural, more population. But the other thing I see is that the cost is higher and the performance is worse. Sometimes I see that, and I don't know if that's people have so many options thing. I don't know if it's because you show up on different places on the search page because there's so much competition. I know the cost is because there's so many more advertisers in a heavily populated area than smaller areas. But I also see worse performance there sometimes.
Yep.
So I do like having but at the same time, 2 sides of the coin, I do like the volume there. Mm-hmm. So that's when a location bid adjustment could really come in handy because you could go like, okay, I'm targeting Texas overall, this Dallas-Fort Worth area, say region inside the Google Ads account, this Houston region, they're higher volume, yes, but they're eating up a lot of my budget. The conversion rates are lower and the cost is higher on those. I still want them because the volume's there, but I want to pay less in those areas and let my budget flow to higher or to lower volume areas because I seem to perform better there. Yeah, I could break it now into bunch of different campaigns, but that's not lazy. And what is effective in Google Ads? Lazy is effective. Lazy man build. So I can keep things in one campaign, keep a bunch of data, make a bunch of smart decisions, but just take my foot off the pedal a little bit in those higher volume areas and make one little tweak there, negative 50% bids in that big, heavily populated region. Sounds drastic, but you know what? I'm still going to get clicks there probably, still going to get traffic, but now I can get traffic from other places. You cannot do that unless you actually have those areas targeted, layered on. I like that, Chris. That's smart.
Yeah. And the same thing as before.
Idea.
Every time I hit one of these, I'm going to say, as soon as you see a theme that matches your industry or fits along with the pattern that you're trying to do in Google Ads, if you see something that makes sense, you're selling something that might be more accurate or more popular in a rural area or urban area, something like that. If you see those trends, maybe income might have something to do with it, more expensive luxury item. When you see that, then make the push in that direction. I'm not saying just because it's there, make bid adjustments on everything. For the first point is just look at the data, then react to the data.
And Chris, there's a difference between lazy and pathetic. So I'm all about lazy, but I'm not about being pathetic.
Yeah.
Lazy and smart. Lazy is smart. Don't forget that. Lazy and smart is going, okay, this higher or this one little small area seems to be getting a really great conversion rate. This part of Texas, I don't know why yet, and I'm not that confident it's the most data, but I'm going to put a plus 30% bid adjustment on it. And lazy is doing that, but that's also smart because you're not rocking the boat too much. You're going to get more from there. You're going to continue to see if that conversion rate stays strong over massive amounts of time if you want to wait. Pathetic would be go 2 years into this and seeing a conversion rate that's 3 times better than everywhere else and not breaking
reacting.
that into its own campaign at some point.
Yep.
But that's pathetic. You don't want to be pathetic. You do want to be lazy. Let things play out. Over time, you'll have enough confidence to make a great decision and avoid being pathetic in this one regard of your Google Ads management skills. Now, you can also be a great Google Ads manager, but still pathetic in your fashion choices. The Patreon members will see that on the video for those levels of Patreon after the episode. Chris's shirt is this weird little like boy baseball uniform, but with nothing on it shirt where the sleeves are a different color than the core of the shirt and the collar matches the sleeves. You all will be able to see that pathetic shirt.
I like this shirt.
On different levels of Patreon. So Chris is an example of a great Google Ads manager, but pathetic in other aspects of his life. This case, fashion. Most weeks, fashion, to be honest.
Yeah.
Chris, I built you up. I broke you back down. Let's get into the next one and prove yourself again.
That's what I need. All right, for the third one.
It's what you love.
You literally started it like before the camera even was turned on. You started it that way. You were like, "Chris, I made you." No, I didn't make you. Like, all right. So, audiences. Okay, the third thing here, my third PPC hack is audiences. This is what I want you to understand about audiences. I see many people, when I do consults with people, I see many people having a couple of audiences. If you have not heard a theme in this yet, stop limiting your data by only applying things that you think is going to give you important data. Add every single major category for every audience that's out there, okay? And then when you find some subcategory that works, add those. So for example, if you are selling something around home decor or something for the home, okay, you don't need to add all the subcategories for employment, right? Because if someone's looking for a job, that doesn't really mean they're going to be more interested or less interested in what you're doing. What you need to do is then find the things that relate to home decor and things like that, and add those subcategories. Okay, so anything that relates and has a category that matches, go deeper on that, but make sure you add all the other non-relevant categories in your audience. And I'd say the data, it's all about the data. The more data you can get from this, the better it's going to be. It's going to be a huge benefit to your campaign. So one thing I want to say that it's a huge tripping point for this is, and we're going to talk about it in Patreon, you have to understand that observation versus targeting, what that means and how that works. So we're going to mention it briefly in Patreon. So it's a huge tripping point for many people. You could really screw up your campaign. So be sure and listen for that in Patreon.
Yeah, Chris, I love adding audiences too. It's interesting with Google Ads. Like, there's all these changes. Sometimes the changes are tough to take and all that kind of stuff. But I was just thinking, like, 3 years ago, were we really talking about audiences that much? I think there was a way to add them, but it was very, like, disorganized and hard to get to. I'm adding them a lot these days. Observation, that's how I add them to start. We'll talk about that in Patreon. One thing I just want to throw out there is you were talking about the industry you're in and adding those kind of audiences. Chris, I have some weird data for you from my own campaign that I'll share in Patreon about audiences that I don't even know why I added them, but I did. And they're just, oh, you know what? I think I added them because I saw the data in Google Analytics at the audience level. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. I'm having a little flashback to that, but there's a very weird audience that converts very well for myself, and it's doing it across different named audiences, like different kinds of audiences, but are at the same topic or same like theme. So I will break that down in Patreon.
And that's exactly what I was talking about.
I would never guess that. I would never know that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to audiences, at least my take is, I'm not too interested about going like, well, I guess you could argue, yeah, this audience is doing great, do a 15% bid adjustment. Again, that gets messy. I'm more about like looking for massive breakthroughs and going this is weird. This is very strange, but I'm not, it's not that I see a 7% conversion rate versus awesome 9% conversion rate. It's like my average conversion rate is like 8%. And in this theme, it's 25% over a lot of data. Like, I want to see massive breakthroughs, and then I want to break them into their own campaign over long time periods and see if the trend continues, because I don't want to do that when it's just a couple little bit of a difference on click-through rate or more so conversion rate. But if I actually do see like a overall 8% conversion rate versus 25% over a massive amount of data, that's worth putting into its own campaign. And you're not going to know that unless you add these audiences and observe them. So great tip there, Chris.
Okay. I have one last one, and I think you guys are going to like it. It's a little bit different theme, but I think it's equally important. But I want you to remember to try Optio, optio.com/PSP2. Very important tool. As I've said for a couple weeks now, it is the smart tool, is the automation tool for people that work at a manual bid level. I think that's such a great way to describe it. And it's really what it is. Let me explain what that means. That means that it's making decisions based on the data that it has, but it doesn't implement them for you. It doesn't go in and change things for you. It shows you the data. That's what we've been talking about all day today. We've been talking about looking at the data and making decisions based on what you see in Optio. If you are managing Google Ads for yourself, you're doing it for clients, this is the tool for you, and you can try it for free for 8 weeks. opteo.com/PSP2.
Okay, Chris, you got one more. Don't forget, this one's weekly. You're claiming people are missing things weekly. It's a bold claim. Back it up.
Okay. So let me start from the beginning. Search terms is what we're talking about. Okay. Search terms is something that I think you should do weekly. Okay. And the reason that this is not just the same old story about search terms is because, and Jason, I know you have a good tip for this, because I know you're the king of doing things like this with all the data that you get in your accounts.
And I got to say, I appreciate you only building me up. I appreciate that, because I can't handle any criticism at all.
Yes,
so thanks for only building me up. I appreciate it.
So here's the thing.
That's why this works well.
You look at your search terms, look at them for the past 90 days, 120 days. As long as you've been going and the integrity of the data is good, your conversion data is good, I want you to look back as far as you can. Then change your eyes to look for individual words within those search terms. Don't look at those search terms as a manager of Google Ads and you're trying to figure out new keywords. I want you to look at those words as parts of a bigger term. So if it says how to trim the leaves on my trees, what I want you to do is focus on the how to part, okay? And ask yourself, what about all my other how-to searches? What about all my other when searches? What about my cheap searches? What about the ones that include the word for, F-O-R? What about the ones that include the word online, or the ones that say near or nearby or in X city? This is such good data, because this is data you're paying for and you're missing it. And this is absolutely a hack, because you take a search term filter and say, show me only the search terms that contain the word how. And then it shows you all that data. Look at what you can possibly, what happens to the conversion rate? Does it shoot sky high? Maybe you need to focus more on these symptom question searches. Maybe it goes really low if they type the word cheap, because your item's really expensive. If these question terms mean more or less to you, react to that data. This is a gold mine of data, and it's essentially hidden by the massive amount of it. You can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see these trends because there's so many, and you have to filter down to say, only show me the words that don't contain the word how. Only show me the searches that don't contain the word plumber. You're running a plumbing campaign and it doesn't say the word plumber. What other searches don't contain the word plumber? I mean, you might be surprised what you see. Maybe there's a whole bunch. You're realizing plumbing is actually a very common search, and that search sucks. You should block it. It's not doing very well for you. So that's it. It's really a thing you could do weekly. It shouldn't take very long. I don't want you to dig in and do hundreds of these. Just grab a couple that you see in the past 7 days, see what you can find that might correlate to the past 3-4 months. And did you find something interesting? If you didn't, then fine. But if you did, dig in.
Chris, I love that tip. I love the idea of breaking down the search terms into just their words and getting insights from there. The couple things I'll throw out there. One is, train yourself to look at the words that can be potential big problems, like how, where, why, those kind of words. And you can usually those leads to some negative keyword ideas, but also look at the good words. So like if you're a moving company, do a filter for the word office, and maybe your conversion rate's awesome on those. Maybe you haven't gotten one single conversion from an office moving search for the last 2 years, and it's just kind of blended in your overall keyword data and you haven't caught it. Maybe you look at the word commercial and you're like, okay, we target office moves with the keywords office movers and commercial movers. And in your own mind, as a business owner, you're thinking, if someone's at a business, they're going to be searching for commercial movers just like they do for office movers. That's how we know they want an office mover. But maybe in the consumer's mind, the word commercial movers means something like different, and people aren't searching for that when they're looking for your service. You can find that out. If there's any common filters you do to get your own data on them and see how they do regularly, save those filters. I love saving filters. That's like one of my top hacks, if you will, across Google Ads, saving filters. And Chris, there's another way, and I want to cover this in Patreon here in a minute, to look at the words of your search terms without doing a filter. It's in a different part of Google Ads that we don't happen to go to that often.
Oh, that's true.
But I'm looking at that here, and honestly, like this section of Google Ads, there's some stuff in there that's pretty cool, some stuff in there that I don't use that much, but this might be like the most useful thing in there. And you can see the search terms by word, and we'll break that down in Patreon.
Let's do that. Okay. Well, and that's it. I hope you have enjoyed these PPC hacks. If you would like to send us a question, or you just want to reach out to either me or Jason, we work independently. If you're interested in speaking to either one of us, paidsearchpodcast.com is the URL. Go there, and we'll catch you next week.